All right, hey, what's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to break down the keyword research process. And this is a really vital process for anybody's digital marketing. If they're looking to get in front of people who are searching for their products, their services, jobs, investment opportunities, whatever the case may be, the keyword research process is really where we will identify those opportunities. And once we identify them, we can look and see how many searches there are per month, and then engineer strategies to get them ranked atop Google, Yahoo, Bing for those given searches. So this is a look into the bonsai process. A little background on me: I've been doing SEO since 2001. I've seen the maturity of this industry, and I think it's really important that we start by brainstorming. A lot of people want to go straight into tools and straight into getting all these keywords, but I think it's really important to start by just using your mind, kind of getting into your ideal customer profile's mind. What terms might they be looking for? Because oftentimes I find that technology and tools can send you down a lot of rabbit holes that may not really be as relevant. And really, if we miss an opportunity here, the client will never have an opportunity to rank for that given keyword. So I can't stress the importance of this process enough. So really what we're going to do is we're going to identify the ideal customers, aka the personas, the stakeholders of the site, who it is we want to attract to the site. And we're going to be mapping out, the informational searches or the searches broken down by the buying cycle. So information, evaluation of alternatives, and purchase. You could also look at post-purchase and a lot of other things, but that's just where we kind of break it down. From there, we can get into brainstorming by cluster. So you can think of a cluster as a topic. And I find it helpful to look at what are the core topics or clusters of keywords that relate to a client's business. And we'll get into an actual example here. We'll then break the keywords down with data. So here's where we start to use tools. So we'll look at our clusters and we'll break down all the different keywords. We'll understand, what the total monthly search is, competition, top of page, bid, the low. So that'd be the number 3 or 4 position, and then the top of page bid high. We weight and average that cost per click, and then we have a column where we can work with the client to prioritize these keywords based on their relevancy to the business. I always use this example. Sure, Britney Spears gets millions of searches every month, but that doesn't mean that we should optimize our website for Britney Spears if that's not something that's going to provide value to those visitors, and it's not what our business is about, right? Ridiculous analogy, but or example, but I think you get the point. And then from there, what we do is, and I'm big on this, but being able to look at, we take all this data, we look at, okay, what is the estimated search volume for this cluster, which helps us then prioritize these clusters based on relevancy and search volume. We can look at the estimated cost per click, and we can look at the cluster relevancy here. And then we'll do some stats, run a statistical analysis to figure out, okay, well, in theory, this cluster is a good cluster for the client, but how can we actually prove that with data? And that's where we can come in and we can look at the confidence level and say we want a 90% confidence level, 50% bias, and a margin of error of 5%. That'll help us understand what the sample size is needed for us to be able to determine if long-term this is a good keyword to go after. And a really cool strategy is to use pay-per-click advertising to target a keyword or a cluster of keywords, see what our click-through rate, what our conversion rates are on the site. We can get data on that within 2 to 4 weeks. We can then use that data and compare our clusters to see which one is getting us the highest click-through rate, aka the most interest, as well as the highest conversion rates. And then from there, with that data, so within a month, we can have data comparing all these different keywords and clusters and topics. We can then prioritize the clusters that are getting the highest conversion rates, and then use SEO optimization to get organic rankings for those same clusters and keywords. Because SEO, it doesn't happen overnight. In fact, depending on the competition for a keyword, it can take 1 to 2 to 3 years, even longer if it's a new business in a highly competitive industry and market. So that's really what we'll do. Once we've done this analysis, we'll then get into our keyword to landing page, and you got to remember that each page of a website represents an opportunity to rank for between 1 and 3 keywords as a general rule of thumb. And those keywords need to be highly correlated. So if you're going for web design Seattle, you might also go for web designer in Seattle or web design agency in Seattle. Again, all 3 of those keywords are highly correlated, highly related. The content in that page can speak to all 3 of those keywords. And then so from here, what we're doing is we're looking at the keyword. We're assigning a landing page so that each keyword has a home. Keywords that don't have a home, we're not going to rank for. That's just what it is, And then really from there, we're once we've assigned keywords to landing pages, we're then building out title tags and meta tags to make sure that at least at a minimum those pieces are optimized. And obviously the site's content plays a significant role, internal linking, a lot of other on-site technical on-page SEO things. But using this strategy can help provide a lot of clarity as to the different topics that we want to rank for, the specific keywords, assigning keywords to landing pages, and optimizing the title tags and meta tags. And then we can take that, all this data, and use it towards optimizing the page's content, whether that be written content, video content, image content, rich snippets. We can then go deep dive into that. So, another thing that we like to do in our keyword research process is to take a look at content ideas. What would be different? Whether it's for blogs or social, we'll do some Q&A, so question and answer site research to see, okay, well, what questions are being asked that are relevant to this industry. That might help us formulate some FAQs, maybe even going out to those Q&A sites, posting answers, linking back to blogs and resources that further explain what it is that question answers. So this is really the process that I like to follow, that I found to be really successful for my clients. So with that said, let's actually jump into a client and take a look at how we're optimizing their site. All right, so the client that I'm going to use as an example here is a company called Advanced Farm. They are building robotic strawberry pickers and fruit tree pickers, that take the painstaking job of picking fruit and do it with robots. Pretty exciting, pretty fun stuff. So what I'll do is I'll take our spreadsheet here, and then I will break down each of our personas. So in this case, we have a employee persona, an investor persona, a customer profile, so a customer persona, and then looking at defining the ideal customer. And I've got a lot of data from the client. So in this case, I really just looked at, okay, well, where are they going to get answers? So employees are going to job posting sites, they're doing Google searches. Investors are going to investor publications. newsletters, they're doing Google searches, customers, so farmers, management of larger farms, etc. Word of mouth is going to be big for them, as is Google searches, as will be newsletters, associations, and those kind of things. So and then from there, what I do is I take a look at, okay, based on the buying cycle. So when they're just looking for information, they may be looking for agricultural robotics jobs, careers, top rated. Well, that's an old piece there. So I've actually gone ahead and already done all this work. All right, so as you can see here, what I've done is, for the employee, I've looked at informational searches. So they're just beginning their process. They might be looking at, and a lot of these keywords, I should preface this, they can work for multiple investors or for multiple personas. That's not a problem. So for the employee persona, we have promising ag tech startups, agricultural technology companies, agricultural robotics companies. So, maybe it isn't that they're looking for specific job posts or careers. They're just looking for who are the players in this space that I might want to go work for. And then from there, they're looking at agricultural robotics jobs, agricultural robotics careers, ag tech internships, ag tech mechanical engineering jobs or internships, ag tech software engineering jobs, and the list goes on. And we can even really probably get even more specific. So maybe if it is an ag tech Java job or a specific mechanical engineering robotics job title, getting down to those specific job titles could also be beneficial there as well. And then once we're getting to the purchase phase, so at this point they're looking for, okay, I'm thinking about going to work for Advanced Farms. What are the searches that they might conduct there? So maybe they're going to look at Advanced Farms reviews, to get an idea of what do customers and and then Advanced Farms Glassdoor. What do other employees think of this business? They may be looking for Advanced Farms revenue. How stable is this company that I'm going to go work for? And then, just looking at this, they might be looking at Advanced Farms fundraising or raises or, terms related to how well funded is this startup? Am I going to work for a startup that has money today but might be out of business in, a month or two, or are they a well-funded startup that has a real shot of succeeding? So those are some of the things we'll look at here. And then from there, we're looking at, the investor persona, doing really the same thing, looking at investment opportunities, ag tech investment opportunities. They may be looking for top ag tech startups. And then again, they're going to be looking for, reviews, revenue, how much have they raised to date, some of those types of questions. And then the customer profile, obviously agricultural robotics, robots in agriculture, new tech in agricultural. So these are real top of funnel, just learning about what's out there, agricultural automation, agricultural robot, ROI, agricultural technology, agricultural startups. And then we're getting, as we enter the evaluation of alternatives, we look at the specific products and services that the company offers. So here we're getting a lot more specific. We're looking at a strawberry picker, a fruit tree picker, robotic strawberry picker, a robotic fruit tree picker, and robotic agricultural picker. So we're getting a lot more specific to what exactly it is that they do. And then again, for a customer buying, they're going to want to know, like, one, what are the reviews? Do they have any case studies? What's the ROI of their product? And they may also, being that they're a startup, want to know, are they funded? And, are they going to be around 5 years from now? Or am I buying a 50, 100, 500,000, whatever the cost of their product is, tool that's here today, gone tomorrow. So this is a look at the the buying cycle and how we brainstorm keywords from here. So the next step is really, we're going to be looking at brainstorming by cluster. So here I'm going to take each of the clusters and fill them out up top, and then start to brainstorm around each of these clusters before we take it into a tool. So I'll go ahead and do that and be right back. All right, so as you can see here, I've taken our cluster brainstorming sheet, and I've taken the work that I've done from the buying cycle, and I've identified our clusters here. So it's a really simple exercise, and it just kind of organizes this instead of from the buying cycle into different topics. Obviously, some of these keywords translate to multiple personas in different stages of the buying cycle, depending on the persona. So in here we have jobs, careers. We have advanced farms presence, which is where I'm going to define things like, their reviews, Glassdoor, different things like that. We then have some like general industry. So by that, I mean agricultural, technology, industry type keywords. We have some ag tech startups, which again is going to relate back more towards our investor and a bit to the employees as well. Our ag tech investments, which is going to be directly associated to our investor profile, as well as pickers, to get to the customers. And this document is a very fluid document. So, as we get into the actual tools and getting the data, we may add 2 or 3 clusters. We may also remove a cluster because there's no search around that cluster. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and bring over the keywords here, organize them in this spreadsheet, and then expand on them as I see fit. So be right back. All right, so as you can see, I've taken our buying cycle brainstorming, I brought it into our clusters, and sure enough, as I started to lay these out, I started to find opportunities. For instance, AI fruit picker, that wasn't something I had previously. Autonomous fruit picker, and something I like to do too is to just kind of start doing some Googling, look fruit picker startups, like who's showing up, what are some of the terms that they're going after, so this would be a investor type one, strawberry picking robotics startup. Really what we're going to do from here is start to take these keywords and place them into clusters. So I'll go ahead and do one of them, and then we can talk about the next steps. So the first thing I'm going to do here is just take each of my clusters. So my first cluster being jobs and careers. I'm going to put that in here. So jobs, careers is now my first cluster. And then I'll do the same for each of the other clusters, just so I've defined my working area for each. All right, and now that I have given a title to each of our clusters for our data sheet, the next thing I'm going to do is come into SEMrush, and we will use the keyword overview or keyword magic tool. So we'll just go ahead and put these in here, click search, and get an idea of the total search volume. So if nothing's found, generally it's the case that there really isn't any search volume around it. But just to be sure, we'll go ahead and click these and see if in fact there are. And it doesn't look like there are. We can also refresh these ones as well while we're at it, just to see if we can get some keyword density, cost per click, or keyword difficulty rather, to understand some of the metrics behind these. So once this data is flowing in here, I'll go ahead and add it to the spreadsheet. And a quick pro tip, so you're not spending your whole time just copying and pasting cells, you can just take these, download them all to a CSV, and then once you have it, you can go ahead and open it and then just bring it over here. Once we have it here, we can just get the fields that we'll need, which will be volume, keyword difficulty, cost per click, competition, and that's really all it is at this point. So we'll go ahead and get these. You can see that it's already sorted by most searched to least searched. So now I can just come in here and then match it up with our fields, so that monthly search volume, competition, and then, SEMrush doesn't give us a high bid, low bid, which is okay. We'll just go ahead and put this data in here and see what we end up with. All right, and then the next thing I like to do is just come in here and click on a couple of these keywords, get an idea of what other keyword variations are related. So ag tech jobs, obviously being the what we look for. There's also jobs in ag tech scientific jobs. So if any of these are relevant, I'll go ahead and add them. Otherwise, I'll come back here and then click on careers, see if there are any keyword variations or related keywords. If there are, I will just bring them in here and get that data in here. All right, one other quick pro tip is that while you're doing this, I think it's helpful to grab some of these questions. These questions can be great ideas for blog posts and different things for clients to write that will, again, just help the website be a great source for a specific topic, which is something that Google really likes. So we'll just go ahead and add those to our Q&A sites and add those questions here. And this will give the client some fodder for content marketing ideas. All right, so I've taken about 30-45 minutes here to kind of deep dive into this. And if you kind of look at my progression, I start start fairly broad, ag tech jobs and careers. Although it's still very specific to agriculture. What I just found though doing that is there aren't many people searching for agricultural robotics careers or jobs. So in that instance, from a strategic standpoint, I would tell the client to broaden their perspective. So instead of looking for ag tech robotic jobs, maybe just look at robotic jobs, 1,300 searches a month. It's fairly competitive, $1.30 per click. Now these are going to be more informational. They could be career seekers. They could also be high school students or college students making career decisions, but that may also be a good opportunity to get internships. So you can kind of see how I've gone from fairly specific and then broadened it out so that we can get an idea of how people are searching. And again, this is my initial take. I'm not in the business, so it's really vitally important that we sit down with the client, take a look at the keywords, and get an understanding of what they consider to be relevant to their business. So that'll be kind of the next step. And then again, just going through this, as I was exploring keywords, I found some good content ideas for blogging and social. Some good Q&A sites. And again, these could be content ideas. So these could also just be blogs as well. In fact, we'll just take these and copy them over here just so we've got them all in the same spot. So yeah, now we have completed one of our clusters, and it will be time for us to jump into our next few of them here. So I'll save you that painstaking part of this process, and that's pretty much where we'll leave this. Again, I think the really important thing is to start by brainstorming, using your brain, understanding how people search at different points in the buying cycle, getting your clusters out there, and then start to get some data here and understand how people are actually searching, and then sit down with the client, talk to them about which keywords are most relevant to their business, and then from there we can start to map those keywords to landing pages. So that's really where we get into information architecture. So I hope this video has been informational. Hopefully it's provided you some value and given you some guidance. I'll go ahead and include a spreadsheet in the video description where you can download this, follow along, and fill out your own keyword research. And of course, feel free to reach out to Bonsai. We're happy to help with any of your SEO design development needs. We're a full service agency. So thanks for watching and take care.